Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. It's happening again. Another episode of Squares of the Round Table podcast. I'm Mike Boyle. Thanks for listening, everybody. And with me this week is just Jeff.
Just Jeff.
Just Jeff. No
just
Ivans
Jeff.
this week. Just Jeffs.
Just Jeffs.
Yeah.
Jeff and Mike. It's the Jeff and Mike show.
I couldn't find another Ivan to take place of our Ivan.
You know, back in the day when we did the old show on WEF 1430, The Weef, which we termed Weef because that was the call letters, but we had another name for it, which was for ethnic every fucking day.
Yeah.
But we used to have the Ivatron, and maybe it's time to bring the Ivatron back to life. But,
that could happen.
It could happen.
Someday. It could happen someday.
We may need to bring the Man Ivatron back, but we'll see.
Maybe there's a way I can find, like, old archives. Ivan has all that on tape, but I have some stuff on disc. If I could get that audio hooked up and recorded somehow, I could put it up on the channel. It's like like a best of. I do have a best of snippets that I made, like, in 2001. From the old shows that Ivan would name a new show every week on the Weef. It was RPM, and then it was AM Mayhem for a longest time. I kind of liked that one.
Yeah, well, because it was AM Mayhem.
Yeah, it was. Oh, well. So,
we once did a show in the afternoon, which we called The Really Bad Radio Show, which consisted on us doing things on purpose just because we thought they were funny and they were bad. I think we played, you know how like some of the shows used to use all that extra reverb and echo?
Yep.
So we did an entire part where we were like talking in echo and joking around about it on purpose. And it was...
I'm sure it was very bad.
It was.
We did a lot of bad things.
I don't think that's the week the Baha'i Nation got mad at us, but...
no, I got pinned on that.
I think that was AM Mayhem. I
got pinned on that. Yeah. Because it was just before their show, so. Right.
Yeah. And what's funny is years later, when I was working at WNDZ, guess whose show I used to run at one point?
Oh, the Baha'i Faith.
Baha'i Faith. Yeah. It was so funny. He's like, oh, you're working here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. So it's funny because I was running their show for a while over on WNDZ. So when they moved from the Weef, but crazy.
Twice the Baha'i, but half the calories. That's what
Baha'i, how are you? So horrible.
So how you doing? How was your week?
You know, it's really funny because did we survive Chiberia?
Yes, we made it.
Did. I think we did, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I walked out into the 20-degree weather and was like, oh my God, it's so wonderful. I mean, that was just crazy.
It was 48 rain this week. I was able to use my smaller coat today.
Yeah. Oh no, like today it's like 50-something and you're like, at one point I was outside and I wasn't even wearing a jacket. I'm like, oh, this is nice. And then we go back to the usual bullshit.
Yep.
So, apparently the little rodent didn't see it. I don't remember, is it that he sees his shadow or he doesn't see his shadow? Either way, supposedly we're supposed to not get the additional time for winter, but I've never, I don't know what's least trustworthy, Mike, weathermen or rodent weathermen.
I don't know what the accuracy rating is for the Groundhog between Puxatawny Phil and, of course, we have Woodstock Willie because the Groundhog Day movie with Bill Murray was filmed in nearby Woodstock.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I saw something. Oh, now that makes more sense. I guess they got the guy who plays Ned Ryerson to come out this year.
Okay.
For the thing out in Woodstock. Did he see his shadow, or how did that go?
The rodent did not see his shadow, which means we're getting an early spring.
Yay! Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I've seen that meme around the way it says, Everybody's getting ready for spring except you, Illinois. Not you. Your weather sucks.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah. So did you have to go into work, or did they actually let you, stay home?
Wednesday is my usual day off, so I don't have to go in. But my workplace was open on Wednesday. I know there's some of my coworkers were able to work from home, and some of my friends, some of my friends didn't have to go in either. Well, they left early. I know one of them, they couldn't get their car started. But yeah, we had to go into work today, that day on Wednesday. But I didn't have to because that's my normal day off. So I just jumped outside, waited until about 3 o'clock, and just ran my truck for about a half hour just to be sure it would run. And then I turned it off and jumped back inside, closed the garage. It was nasty. And then we had that snow, was last week, about a week and a half ago. So, yeah, it was crazy. So, but at least now, almost all the snow around here is gone because we just got a bunch of rain today.
Yeah.
And
there's still a little bit here, but it sounds like we're going to get some more coming up here again.
Probably.
But yeah, for the listeners who don't live in the Chicago area, I don't know where the term Chiberia came from, but yeah, it was crazy. And then here's what's crazy. They're showing pictures of people out on the lakefront and like, oh, it's so wonderful. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And it's like, you guys are crazy.
It was pretty crazy I know, seeing pictures downtown on Wednesday, and it's a ghost town in Chicago. A lot of people, but not a lot of people in the loop.
Right. Well, that's what certain people were talking about how great it was to be able to drive their car. So I guess there's that. But yeah, I'm like, at one point they were talking about how, frostbite will set in 2 minutes, that if you talk outside, you could hurt yourself. And at one point we were colder than Antarctica, we were colder than Siberia, and we were colder than Alaska. I know that those were the ones. And then every time I turned around, there was another meme out there with like Star Wars Hoth in Chicago.
Yeah, all the Hoth memes, with the AT-ATs down State Street and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or the
one where it's like they're setting up, getting ready for the battle. Yeah. There's like a turret and all that stuff.
Yeah, the rebel the radar dish and the Hoth, Hoth troopers. Yeah.
Those. And the funny part is, those are funny except for the part where if you were here, it was true. And I think everybody at one point or another, even if you didn't have to go outside, was like, how bad could it possibly? Oh my God, it's bad. Okay, nope, not doing that.
Yeah. And then by Friday it was nice. Air didn't hurt my face.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It's funny. So what's your rationale for why you haven't moved?
I hate snakes and bugs and scorpions.
Okay.
It was like the story we talked about last week about the snake in the toilet.
Yep. And overrunning iguanas in Florida. Yeah. I'm not big on hurricanes. I'm not big on earthquakes. I don't necessarily, technically we are still part of Tornado Alley. Knock on wood. We haven't, thank goodness gracious, we haven't had a real tornado up this far north in a long time. So that's a good thing. But, no tornadoes, no hurricanes.
No wildfires.
Yeah, no wildfires, no earthquakes,
No tsunami.
Right. We could, in theory, we could have one though, because we're right on the lake. We could do, like a water spout thing could happen, but real rare. And then, like you said, things like,
giant spiders.
Snakes. Yeah, giant spiders, snakes, scorpions. I'll give you a good one. When I was down in North Carolina for a few months, I'm looking outside, and there's these black birds, and they're freaking, and they look like crows, but they're bigger than crows. And I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at these things, and there's like got to be like 100 in the tree. And when I say that, it's far enough away where I'm inside, it's far enough away, it's not a big deal. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I just said it out loud, I'm like, those are the biggest fucking crows I've ever seen. And somebody goes, those are crows. I go, oh, okay, what are they? Buzzards. I'm like, what? Buzzards. You mean like buzzards, like vulture buzzards? Yeah.
So if you die, they will pick at your lifeless corpse.
Yeah. You know, if you're laying on the ground and you look dead, guess what? They're coming.
Yeah. They'll take little bites of you. Yeah.
No. And there's an entire tree full of like 20 or 30 of them. I'm like, yeah. That was a moment. It was funny because some of like the people who had been around for a while were kind of laughing, like kind of how you're laughing. I'm like, this is not funny. We don't have crap like this in the Midwest. You know, the closest we get to anything is once in a while we'll get like a cat, like a mountain lion cat or something like that. We'll get some of those.
Or coyotes who will steal like little purse dogs.
Yeah, coyotes. We'll get coyotes, and then I'm trying to think if there's any, you know, other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing that we get. We haven't had bears. I don't think we get bears up this far north, do we? I don't know.
No, maybe, I don't know, but around Lake Forest, maybe? I don't know if there's bears in there. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it's funny because I'm right behind, the Forest Preserve is right behind where I live.
Yeah.
I've seen fox once in a while back there. But I swear, like the deer, like I thought it was bad over where I was originally in Morton Grove. When we moved, it's like you could see whole families just like hanging out in the park, and you're like, oh, okay. Like I was driving back with somebody go, yeah, you know, usually there's a whole bunch of deer here. He's like, oh yeah, really? I'm like, yeah, really, like there, and there was like 8 of them just standing around. It was crazy. But yeah, I'm glad you and I are on the same page, which is. You know, the only thing I can think of is, you know, I think that's one of the reasons I got into the radio, originally got into radio, Mike, was the whole idea of there was that theory that I could spend my summers, like, here.
Indoors.
And then, like, move to warmer climates in the winter, and then, like, come back in the summer. And supposedly people used to talk about that in the radio, back in the day in radio, where it was like, you should be able to do, like, you could get that and make that work. And God knows I could never figure out how anybody got that to work, but.
Get a timeshare.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know how it worked with the radio did.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But yeah.
So yeah, we survived the winter week.
Yeah, just in time for the Groundhog. And then, did you watch Super Bowl at all, or did you?
I had more productive things to do with my time.
Oh my God, I believe we all have more productive things to do with our time. I'm really glad I did them because apparently, I don't care what some of like these media types are trying to spin it. It's like, oh, it was a good game because it was tight to the end. And I'm like, they scored 16 points in an entire game. Okay? The first touchdown wasn't scored until 7 minutes left in the game. That's not a good game. That's boring as fuck.
Yep.
That's boring. I'm sorry. I like defense too, but that's boring. I don't understand how they could go there. And anyway.
Nope. I said I wouldn't watch, and I didn't watch. So I just did training videos for work.
You know what's really funny? I got home. I taped the Super Bowl. So it's all right. Well, I watched the highlights, right? And because I want, we talk about commercials, and maybe we talk about the Super Bowl halftime a little bit. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll watch some of the highlights just to see what it is. As soon as I saw the score, I'm like, I see no need to watch any of the highlights.
Delete.
That was a highlight. Yeah, you said you didn't. The only thing you saw were the movie ads, right? That's the only thing you saw?
Yeah, like I said, I was doing training videos here for work, and I was checking Facebook, and people would post about, the Endgame commercial's up. Okay, I'll watch that. Because I thought I saw something on Twitter, on Marvel's Twitter account, saying there isn't going to be a new commercial for Endgame, and sure enough, there was. But it was only 30 seconds, and you don't get much out of it anyway, so kind of doesn't count.
Well, it certainly was different. I've seen a couple of things about, how sometimes some of these other sites start like dissecting those things like it's nobody's business. And so
there are there's people in the analysis community,
right? Like your Nerdists and your comicbook.com and all those guys, where they take certain sections and they'll blow it up and they'll look at it. Like, I guess they were talking about the one scene with the Statue of Liberty that they think that it looks like a refugee camp because they saw tents.
All I saw were a bunch of boats around Ellis Island.
Yeah.
I only caught I didn't like analyze the whole thing with screen grabs and all that. It just looks bleak. And that makes sense because I'm sure things are pretty bleak.
Right,
I did see one scene where Tony was building with something with Nebula. I just presume it was just to get the Guardians' ship running again because they left it on Titan when Thanos did the snap. So I'm sure that's how Tony gets trapped in space. But we don't know if Nebula's on the ship with Tony or not.
No, she is. That was established even in the first trailer. But yeah, they're together.
Okay.
To me, I think the only other interesting thing that I saw was, they talk about how there are sometimes scenes that we get in trailers that get edited out or
not even used at all.
Or not even used at all.
Like the one scene in Wakanda where they're all running, including the Hulk, towards the camera.
The Hulk's not there.
They didn't even use it.
Right. Well,
it was fake news.
Right. So it was interesting because somebody mentioned in a couple of the scenes it looked like they had, and it was funny, there was one scene where I was like, that's strange. It looks like there should be something, like a person or something there when I looked at it, and there are a couple places where people were like, it looks like they like edited out a person or something. Again, we're reading tea leaves.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting because I'm curious what ads are going to look like after Captain Marvel comes out.
If we get a final trailer after Captain Marvel. Or maybe we might get a final trailer with Captain Marvel.
Right. I think we are. I think if it's me, I would almost put that trailer at the end of the movie as the after credit. Kind of like what they did for, what was the movie before Avengers where they did a whole trailer like that for after credit?
They did the one scene in Ragnarok.
No. There's a scene at the end of Captain America. At the end of Captain America, right before Avengers happens, they did a whole. Or maybe I'm thinking of maybe you're right. Maybe I'm thinking of Ragnarok. But one of them,
where Thor and Loki are talking, and all of a sudden here's Thanos' ship. I'm like, oh shit! And
no, not that.
That's how that ended.
At the end of Captain America: First Avenger, there's a whole practically trailer for Avengers right after it. All the way at the end. That I think there is, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's how I would do what I would do for Captain Marvel is put one all the way at the end.
Yeah, so, instead of doing a post-credit scene, just do like a trailer, and we'll just pick up where we left off when, post-snap. And of course, I did see the Captain Marvel trailer and the Toy Story 4 trailer. That looks interesting.
Yeah, boy, I'm Disney. I'm not 100% happy because the Toy Story 4 trailer, as I said, I was fast forwarding through. The Toy Story 4 trailer is right after the game ends in terms of when they placed it. And I gotta tell you, by the time that game, but with how, for the average person, with how boring the game was, I'm telling you right now, people were either gone or didn't stick around. I just can't imagine that they stuck around. If anything, it'll pick up more traction on social media than it will there. But
yeah, did we get any of that where people just be like a 30-second trailer or 30-second commercial and then at the end saying, "See the full trailer online"? Did they do any of that?
I can't recall it. I gotta tell you, the ad crop this year was as bad as the game.
I heard something about the Budweiser commercial about windmills. That's all I.
Well, okay, so there's the Budweiser commercial where Budweiser this year really got into the whole natural and environmental, and that's Bud Light too. Because I swear every time I turn around, Bud Light's talking about, hey, did you know we don't use corn syrup? Every ad is about that we didn't use corn syrup.
Well, like, I just saw they did the Bud Light commercial where it's all in medieval times.
Right.
Dilly and all that.
Right, and there's one that apparently, and I didn't realize it because I'm not a Game of Thrones person, but there's one where they crossed over with Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones pretty much trashed the Dilly boys, which everybody seemed to love. However, if you aren't following Game of Thrones, it was kind of like, just like there's a Stella Artois commercial where it's Sarah Jessica Parker like playing up like she's Carrie Bradshaw, and then it's Jeff Daniels playing his character from The Big Lebowski. Again, both of those they don't do much for me, but some people were like, "Oh, those were amazing," and I'm just like, eh. And the T-Mobile ads were okay. If there's an ad that you should see, it's the ad ironically, it's the NFL ad. The NFL ad where basically at some point there's a live football and like it's like practically like one of those like keep away games kind of thing where people start tackling people and throwing passes. Like the entire ballroom breaks out, and it's like there's a couple people I recognize, but it's pretty much like legends and current players all at the same time, like playing around. So that was a cool one.
What do they do, like with face mapping or whatever, where they put?
No, they had the real people.
Okay. They didn't use CG to bring back like Joe Namath or anything like that.
No. I think certain things they used, like they had one where Dion intercepted a ball. They had Franco Harris like catching something and kind of running like it was the Immaculate Reception. Okay. That kind of stuff. Right. And that was all really, really cool. Okay. So that one's cool. If you can find, it's definitely out there, Mike, and our listeners will be able to find it. That one was cool. I liked the Amazon ads and not necessarily just the Alexa one. The one with Harrison Ford's pretty good too. There was an Audi ad that for some strange reason it struck me. I kind of enjoyed it. Where essentially he's having this amazing dream about, or he thinks he's having this, he's with his dad and he's just gotten this amazing car and someone saves him and the next thing you know he's back in his horrible job, okay, after somebody saved him from choking on a cashew. There was a Pringles one that was pretty good that also had Alexa. That wasn't bad. The ones that were kind of the awe ones were kind of like, Google had one for translating. Verizon had one about first responders. Microsoft had kind of one. It was funny. There was one, I can't remember who did it, but it was almost like an ASMR ad. If you know what, I don't even know if you know what that is or not, Mike.
ASMR?
Yeah.
ASMR is, from what I know, is just porn for your ears.
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
Oh, yeah. Did we talked about that one last week? About the one with Pornhub?
No, that was a different thing, and it's funny. They did an ad, but not the good one.
Okay.
Not the good ones we found online. The ones online were much better. Yeah. But I know they would never gotten approved. Oh, the Washington Post ad talking about defending news and all that kind of stuff. That was a good ad too. But in fairness, there wasn't a lot. It wasn't like some years where it's like, oh my God, that was funny or that was really funny. It just felt like a slog. It really just did. And gotta tell you, I like Maroon 5, but that was. I heard somebody talk about this earlier today. that like when Adam Levine came out, he must have had the same reaction everybody else did, which was, really? This game is 3-0 at halftime? God, I'm so bored. But I guess all the SpongeBob people are upset because they didn't sing Sweet Victory.
Yeah, because like immediately after Steven Hillenburg passed away, we said we have to play Sweet Victory at the Super Bowl for him, to tribute to him. And it's kind of an internet thing.
Right.
Well, and I guess they teased it and they didn't play it. So.
Well, the funny part is they actually did have like a SpongeBob thing for a second, but they didn't play it. So it's like they did do something. It's just they didn't play this. They didn't play the song.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
would have been
and
like
people
3
are
minutes.
going nuts. And then the other thing is there's talk about why is it okay for Adam Levine to take his shirt off, but it's not okay for Janet Jackson. And I don't know about you, Mike, but on this show, we're all for either one taking their shirt off.
Squares of the Rotten Table podcast is brought to you this week by, damn it, I messed it up.
That's okay.
It's brought to you by water tattoos. So many tattoos.
But if anything, it was funny. They had, and I know you're not big on rap, but I hadn't seen Big Boy from Outkast in a long time, and he was really good. If anything, I was like, man, can we have Outkast for Super Bowl next year? But overall, this whole Super Bowl, I'm with you. I'm glad I had something else better to do.
Yeah. This is the first time in years I haven't watched it.
This is the second year in a row I didn't watch it. Last year I felt bad about it because it was a good game. This year I feel nothing about it. But yeah, I'm with you. I was just like,
yeah, no regrets.
No regrets at all. Yeah, I hear you. I'm with you 110% on that, and especially when it's like I'll listen to sports radio, but not today. Not today, and depending on what it is and who it is, because there's just
let them talk about the commercials instead.
6 championships.
Yeah, because you got 6 championships. There's a meme about Tom Brady having the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Exactly. I'm kind of. I'm with you.
So now the Patriots can go to the White House and get McNuggets.
Yep.
So get on down.
Somebody had a meme about hoping that Tom Brady choked on a McNugget. Which that was pretty good. That's probably the next big controversy, right? Is now that the government is back and restored, that they'll get a nice meal and the kids didn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the millionaire football players will get a nice banquet,
we'll
but
get
not
like steak and stuff. But the kids,
college kids, they get their pizzas and fast food. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that entirely. That's gonna.
Yeah, another Super Bowl here and gone. So here's another year of hoping we might get Weird Al next year for the halftime show.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I like Maroon 5. It was not a good day. Although it was funny. I think I posted on the Squares page that since they were on the Super Bowl, their sales have spiked like almost 400% or something like that.
Okay.
Something crazy.
If they were smart, they'd have had a new album out at the same time.
Usually, well, some people do. Like Madonna did that one time.
Yeah. Or at least a new single.
Yeah. Well, they do have one of the hottest singles out there. It's funny because what's her name was they have a single with Cardi B, but she decided not to do it because of this whole Colin Kaepernick thing.
I just saw a news story that Cardi B was a musical act at some porn convention or something.
Was she really?
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Well, she practically is one anyway at this point.
Wait. Now, it's not a show until I look something up.
Yeah, that's not a show until Jeff has to Google something. So we'll have to let you look that up. In the meanwhile, I'll talk about. I purchased Reign of the Supermen. It was a new DC Universe animated film. Came out on DVD. It's been out in streaming for a couple weeks, and I've seen some clips on YouTube that got leaked There's some people, whoever, they just post the clips on like in 5-minute bits. But I finally saw it. That was good. I'm getting kind of used to the voice of Rainn Wilson as Lex Luthor. And, of course, it detracted somewhat heavily from the original Death of Superman and the Return story arc. But it came back. It was still a better comeback than Justice League, that's for sure. It was fun, though. I liked it. It seems like, though, the one main problem I had with it was it seems like they didn't know what to do with the rest of the Justice League. Like in Death of Superman, the previous one, they had practically the whole League fighting Doomsday, and they can't do anything about it until Superman shows up. And in this one, the Justice League was pretty much dispatched by a boom tube, and then they were sent somewhere, and then I'm not going to spoil it very much, but yeah, it seems like the writers just didn't know what to do with them, so they just left them out. And then they were just miraculously brought back just in time for the final battle, and then we get it. Superman's back, and now they're leading up to. And I liked Tony Todd, who was the voice of Darkseid in it. Well, I liked more than that. But I guess their next one is going to deal with the Fatal Five. So I'm interested to see. Well, yeah, of course I'll see the next one.
Yeah, it's interesting because Reign of Superman really, in the comic version, the Justice League weren't really involved at all. The only hero outside of the Steel and Superboy and the Eradicator was Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, because they put Engine City right on top of what is it? Oh God, his hometown, and that's the whole storyline for how he goes berserk and goes bad. And Emerald Twilight. So that's absolutely most Green Lantern fans hate, but I thought it's a great story. So
yeah, there was none of that.
But yeah, I had a feeling they kind of had to make some changes and whatnot. So yes, to answer two points to this. One, yes, Maroon 5's halftime show yielded a 434% sales gain in the United States.
Okay.
Just 434%. And yes, Cardi B did perform at the AVN Porn Awards.
It was an award show, okay.
Yeah, it's the Porn Awards. Okay. Yeah. Apparently she's the first ever artist to do that, so...
Congratulations, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, she's decked out in lingerie and looks like she's having a good time, so...
Okay.
So yeah, no. But, so, I was thinking about this. You've seen Super Bowls over the years. Who would you say, in terms of halftime shows, was memorable to you?
I remember the 3D one with Michael Jackson. I remember that one was good. And Prince and Tom Petty come to mind. As my favorite, personal favorites.
I would put Prince as probably number one. Him out there in the rain doing the Super Bowl halftime show is probably the most memorable of any that I'm aware of. Michael Jackson, I don't even know how you technically place him because Michael Jackson's the first person to really make the Super Bowl halftime show what it is today. So to me, I kind of laugh because it's like,
he set the standard.
He kind of set the standard, and it was interesting. I'm trying to remember who did a top 10 list, and they had him way down in the top 10. And I'm like, how do you put him all the way down in the top 10?
What was another one? Aerosmith,
9.
maybe?
He got put at 9. It's like, how do you put that one at 9? Without him, you don't get any of what we got. If I'm going on recent performances, Bruno Mars a couple years ago was great. He was fantastic. And
I like the Justin Timberlake one.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure most guys like it, and ironically, that was the one moment I had to go to the bathroom and miss the whole thing. And I am a huge Janet Jackson fan. There are a lot of people who talk about Lady Gaga's performance a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I am curious who they're going to look at for next year. It'll be interesting to see what they do or where they go in terms of a performance. I'm trying to remember where the Super Bowl even is next year. But yeah, I think we've Super Bowled out enough, right?
We've talked a lot about a game we didn't watch, so.
Well, because it's got to the point where it's just like a cultural thing. Because it's like, you've got all the ads, you've got, all this stuff. Just like, it's turned into an eating fest too. Because it's like, okay,
calories.
what's the top? I think there was something about what were the best ones by city in terms of, or state about
preferred Super Bowl snack.
Yeah, Super Bowl snack or something like that. I saw somewhere.
See, this year we didn't do it primarily because we usually coincide the Super Bowl with my niece's birthday party. Mm-hmm. But we had her party on Saturday, and then Sunday, we just didn't do it. I did watch the Kitten Bowl, though. Dean Cain and Rebecca Romaine run it. So it was an hour of cute.
Wow, that's a far fall for Rebecca Romaine. Is she still with John Stamos? I think she is, right?
No, I don't know. She's just Rebecca Romaine. She's not Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Okay.
But she still looks good. Yeah,
we actually have it on the site. There's, I guess this is from Daily Snark. This is from Google about the most popular Super Bowl snacks. And I'm guessing, I don't know how they did this survey, but here's what doesn't make sense to me. Illinois is listed for jalapeno poppers. And I'm like, why would it not be pizza or hot dogs or Polish sausage or something like that? Here's funny. Indiana is fried rice.
Fried rice for the Super Bowl?
That's the last place I would think about for fried rice.
That's not finger food.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of why I looked at this list and I was like, just like I'm looking at this, it's like Maryland is pizza and Michigan is pizza.
I tell you, I go to good recipe for jalapeno poppers, so I always make that now.
Let's see what they have for Wisconsin. Wisconsin, buffalo chicken dip. No, I would say bratwurst, my friends.
Or cheese curds.
Yeah, no. This list is weird. I don't know how they found this list, but
maybe just through a dartboard.
And then my favorite is they have some really generic ones, like Wyoming, cake.
Cake? Who eats cake at the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
What the?
Some results were for Delaware, chocolate peanut butter cake. Now that does sound good. I guess Washington D.C. was big old pigs in a blanket. Why?
Pigs in blanket.
Why would?
I had some pretzel dogs the other day. It was good.
Yeah, no, they're good. The list is funny. I don't know where they're coming from with it, but.
What you do is you take the hot dogs with the Pillsbury crescent rolls, wrap them in them. That's good.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to think. What else do we need to get to this week? Oh, there was a whole bunch of DC news, wasn't there?
Lay it on me.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's been a crazy with Chiberia and the Groundhog and the Super Bowl. There's stuff that kind of whizzed by. I guess it's official now. James Gunn is writing and directing the Suicide Squad sequel,
which is technically going to be a reboot.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you need to reboot it.
But this will take place after Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's true. Unless that's what they're going with. If they're going to
assuming they tie in, because is DC even trying to rebuild a universe, or are you just going to do a bunch of one-offs?
Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah. I thought the interesting part was there was a story out there that apparently they offered James Gunn Superman, and he passed on Superman to do Suicide Squad, and apparently there's some sort of animated Super Pets movie and he may be doing something with that because he was interested in doing something with crypto. And then there was talk, I guess, this week that they've slated the Matt Reeves noir Batman movie, which means we're done with Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
Which
I'm fine with that.
I liked his Batman. I gotta, his cop. First of all, it's the only thing I think Snyder got right. Or the only thing they were getting right was Ben Affleck as Batman. First of all, the costume finally looked like something I would see in the comic books.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, okay, we're going to rehash this and we're going to make him young again. It was older Batman who'd been through a whole bunch of stuff, and I kind of liked that.
Yeah, it was a different take, that's for sure. And there are very few people who played Batman where I've been like, oh, that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer and George Clooney come to mind, but the rest I really don't have a problem with as Bruce Wayne or Batman. Like heard like, oh yeah, like he makes a good Batman, but he's a horrible Bruce Wayne, or vice versa. I don't get any of that. I don't get that.
I thought he did. I thought he did well. Just like I think that's the other reason why I don't necessarily want a reboot for Suicide Squad, because it's like, okay, I thought some of the actors in Suicide Squad were good. I just thought they were given clusterfuck material in some ways and were able to make it work. And, in fairness, that movie did better than everybody wants to admit, and I always laugh. That movie won an Oscar.
Yeah, well, Suicide Squad was trying really hard to be like Guardians.
In some ways.
Yeah.
In some ways. Yeah, but like, for example, I'll be curious because like they said, they don't know if Viola Davis will be back to play Amanda Waller.
Right.
I did kind of like Will Smith as Deadshot. I can't imagine they're not bringing back Harley. Because there's just too much pub and too much that people love about Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. That was the one thing out of that movie where everybody just kind of went nuts.
Well, I don't know. This means she's doing other things and getting Oscar nominations, so it'll be harder to get her every time.
I guess. Well, like I said, it'll be interesting. And the good news is that it seems like they've sort of turned the corner, but it's funny, on this show we talked about that a long time ago, that truth be told, once Justice League was over, there was the next sets of movies were going to be such where they would be the ones that would really tell us whether if they've made the right moves or the right changes. And so far, Aquaman's showing that was the case. We'll see what Shazam looks like, and Wonder Woman was the outlier in which they seemed to figure that one out. So, the irony is the next movie after that is Wonder Woman. So
the next one after that is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Oh, that's right. There's that too. I keep forgetting about that one because we're compartmentalizing. We're not sure if we can have a Joker movie without Batman, or even just if I'm sure Joaquin's performance will be good. Right, and it's Scorsese, and I'm sure it'll be interesting. It's kind of like, though, it's like, okay, this is the third, this is a different Joker than Leto's Joker. This is different than, obviously we can't have Heath Ledger, but it's like, okay, so how does it figure in at all to Margot Robbie, or is that just a forget it? I'm assuming it's a forget it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of weirdness to this. We'll see. I'm glad that they seem to have made some announcements about movies that are coming. That's a positive sign.
I'm sure they've got an Aquaman 2 in the works. That's coming probably in a couple of years.
Yeah. I think the only other interesting thing from DC that I caught in terms of the was kind of the TV side. I saw a little bit about Crisis on Infinite Earths, and so
is that in the CW verse?
That's in the CW-verse.
Okay.
And all of the Arrowverse shows, which would be Supergirl and Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, all those, and Black Lightning, which is technically not a part of things, are all renewed. And then they're in the process of working on a Batwoman pilot. I think the interesting part was they were not confirming how many episodes or how long on Arrow, and we might be finally looking at the last season of Arrow, which would be interesting.
Because that's the one that started it all.
Right. And in fairness, it'll be season 8, and there's something to be said about, I think that matter of fact, at the time we record this, I was just watching this beforehand. It was the 150th episode, and I kind of am like, they are doing some interesting stuff lately, but I'm just kind of like, I feel like they're grasping at straws. They're trying to figure it out, of all the shows, and I feel like they lost it a couple seasons ago. But I like the characters. People like the characters, and hopefully maybe they'll spin some of those other characters off into other shows, which would be smart. That'd be worthwhile. So we'll see. But
okay, well, it seems like DC's trying to get their act together.
Yeah, it seems like it. We'll certainly see. And then I guess on the comic side, I guess Brian Michael Bendis is in the process of putting together a big crossover event having to do with something called Leviathan. Again, I'm not reading enough, so my problem is I'm not up on some of this. But if they're letting Bendis do that, that's interesting. I think the other big hullabaloo is, I guess DC is reducing the amount of titles that they're putting out in terms of the number of titles. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know, maybe you'll feel differently about this, but yes, I want a bunch of product, and yes, I want different types of product. At the same time, I just feel like sometimes it's like there's so much out there.
Yeah, go for quality over quantity.
Yeah. There's so much out there. Especially, when you look at it, like DC also has Vertigo, and they have some other imprints, and then, honestly, I'm with you. I would looking at keeping the books more quality and doing,
following Marvel on Instagram and all their social media outlets, you see how many Marvel titles come out in a week.
Yeah.
At least 12. That includes Star Wars, which is like 3 or 4 different titles.
Yeah.
So it's over 12 different. Yeah, if you're like diehard Marvel, you're shelling out like $50 a week at least.
Yeah.
That's if you get a discount at your local. If you're buying get a discount from your store. Yeah, there's a lot of content out there every week, and as far as printed media from the big two.
Well, the interesting part is that's where the digital. I think that's where it's interesting. Like right now, I'm so far behind right now that if I were to buy the digital packages from either or both DC and Marvel, I'm far enough behind where it's like you have unlimited access to reading anything. Truth is, I could get caught up real fast, but then it's okay. Now I'm back to I'm waiting. Public libraries are good for this too, by the way. Every time I turn around, there's another public library that has graphic novels available.
Yeah. Well,
and the crazy part is, Mike, we're just talking about Marvel and DC. We're not talking about publishers like IDW or Image
and Dark
Horse or
and all the other smaller indie labels.
Right, and then Netflix is now doing publishing because of Mike Miller and his deal. So that's there's a lot out there. There's a lot of content and there's a lot that gets shipped out there, and it's good. I think it's great. Like I said, though, after a while, it's just like, with the amount of content, how much it costs.
Yeah, you got to pick and choose.
Yeah, you do. You really kind of do. And it's like, okay.
Which is why, it's why I'd be okay with these big, at least the big two streamlining.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and I think the one thing, and I think we've talked about this before too, is like, here's the thing: how much did the Reign of Superman cost you?
$20.
$20, and it's how long?
An hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
With a couple bonus features. I think there were 2 episodes of the animated Justice League in it.
So $20. If you stop and think about this one, $20. With the way they run story arcs these days, you can't. If it's a 6-story arc, you can't get a 6-story arc for $20.
Nope.
You can't do it. The cost. I mean, let's be generous and say it's $4 a book. I think it's closer to $5. Okay, but let's be nice and say it's $4. You're at $24, and you gotta wait 6 months, or I can buy Reign of Superman for $20, and it's animated, and I can watch it, and yeah, I think that's to me that's really where I'm curious. I'm curious what happens with that, you know, because truth be told, okay, fine. I don't like what's going. Like there have been times where it's like, okay, I don't like what's going on. Great, I can go find some Avengers cartoons, or I can go find a Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movies, or I can go watch the Avengers again. I don't need to be reading your content. There's perfectly good content out there. Same thing with DC, which is okay, great. I'll go rewatch. Maybe I'll go rewatch a season of. Maybe I'll go rewatch Crisis on Earth X. But yeah, like I said, kind of crazy.
Yeah, this week. Well, once I get my training videos done for work, then I can start binge watching the MCU leading up to March and April.
Oof.
I hope to have them done. I got my stack here. At 2 hours each. I'll have to get a couple in on the weekends. So
that's a lot now.
Yeah, I gotta get started if I want to be current in time for Captain Marvel.
I was going to say, that's the other question is, well, okay, so here's my question. What order are you watching them in?
Not the release date order. I found a list. So, like Captain America, technically Iron Man was first, but I'm starting with Captain America, the First Avenger.
Right.
There's a true chronological order. Like according to James Gunn, Guardians 1 and 2 take place within like 4 months of each other.
Right, and they're before a whole bunch of stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Yes. The only problem,
apparently they've had a whole bunch of adventures with Mantis as part of the crew between the end of Guardians 2 and all the way up to Infinity War.
Yeah. I mean, there's like years, my understanding is. Like, they've been together for like years at that point.
Yeah.
It's my understanding. But, so here's my question to you then. You're going to watch them in order. How are you planning on handling the Captain Marvel thing?
I was going to wait till, I plan to see Captain Marvel at least twice in March. So I want to have them all done by the 1st of March, I want to be done.
Because technically if you're going to watch them in historical order, in terms of not movie release date.
Right, because that would put Captain Marvel between Captain America and Iron Man 1.
Right, exactly.
So, I can't binge watch, I'm not going to binge watch the MCU.
Wait, let's go beat up Kevin Feige and go get a bootleg copy, and then you can do it.
No.
Yeah.
I'll watch the DVDs this month. I got them all lined up. I'll just have to rent Iron Man 3. I've only seen Doctor Strange once. So it'll be interesting after now post Infinity War. I mentioned this on the show that I didn't care much for Doctor Strange, but now after watching Infinity War, Doctor Strange is cool. So his origin story was just kind of lame, but
it's on. I can't remember if it's on TBS or TNT or both.
Yeah.
I think it's on both. I think it's out there. That's the other crazy part where it's like earlier tonight, like TNT showing the Avengers.
Yep.
It's like it's gotten to the point now where it's like you can find most of these movies on like regular cable now.
Yeah. I don't know if they pulled the MCU films from Netflix yet.
No. Well, let me rephrase that.
Some of them might still be free.
No, I don't think they did because I think Infinity War's on there now. And then I don't remember what they said the last movie is that they're getting. I think it's probably Ant-Man Wasp. Yeah. I think that's the last of the MCU movies that go there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I know Infinity War's on there now. But, yeah, I think some of them, I don't know if they're all on there. I think they come on in spurts, if you understand what I mean. Like Black Panther will be on for a bit, and then, okay, Black Panther's going to leave, and now you're getting Infinity War. So,
or you'll get the first Hulk, or you'll get Winter Soldier, so stuff like that.
Yeah. There's like I said, there's the timeline, and you'll be able to figure it out and work from there.
That's something I wanted to do. I'll keep you apprised of my progress leading up to the end of February.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. We also had a Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw trailer.
Okay.
you sound that sounded not very interested, but yeah, so that was another one that got aired and had been on this week.
Was that a Super Bowl teaser?
Yeah, that was out there too.
Okay.
But it was out there earlier in the week too. So.
Oh, what's another thing that was teased before the Super Bowl was this TurboTax commercial with this Robo-Child. That was freaking creepy.
Weird.
That's creepy, man.
Yeah, that was weird too. Yeah. I don't. So you said you saw some movies this weekend.
Well, yeah, I saw Reign of the Supermen, and that was good. I'd say recommend it. It was good DC action.
Do you need to see Death of Superman to watch Reign of Superman?
No, not necessarily, but it does help the emotional. I think the first one was a little more emotional. And Rebecca Romaine is the voice of Lois Lane.
Okay.
I think Rosario Dawson is Diana, but she doesn't have, like I said, they didn't have much to do in the second one, or at least the Death of Superman. Death of Superman, yeah, the League was in it quite a bit. But in Reign of Superman, it was mostly just about the four, Supermen.
Uh-huh.
And of course, it plays into why they paid so much attention to this Excalibur space shuttle that was destroyed when Doomsday crashed on Earth.
Uh-huh.
So it helps play into that. It's like, why are we paying attention to these astronauts? And now we know why, because it ties in directly into Reign of the Superman. So I like that. But I also did finally watch Sing. It was that one.
I love that movie.
Imagine Entertainment? Or is it the name of that? I don't know the name of the. It's the same studio that put out the Minions. But it was one that was in the theaters and gone. And I was like, I'll catch it eventually, yeah. But it was Saturday night. We just come back from my niece's birthday party, and we're like, I'm bored. All right, we'll watch this. And it was actually pretty good.
Oh, it is. It's phenomenal. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's a good story. Yeah, it's very charming. And they didn't have to just have, of course there was a fart joke in it, but just had to do something to keep the kids entertained. Because there were some, not to say, there were some grown-up themes about just one of the characters, her boyfriend broke up with her, another character where it's a mom, where she's caught in the daily drudgery of raising the kids, and the dad, she sees her husband in passing when he's leaving from work and coming home from work, so she's bored, but Yeah, there was some great story arcs in it, where it jumps between character to character, between like the elephant lady, and then there was the young gorilla guy with his dad, and it was great. I enjoyed it, and of course the music was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I dug it, and if it's free on Netflix, so yeah, I'd totally recommend it. Loved it.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I took my mom during Christmas last year. Not in 2017, going into 2018, and she really enjoyed it, and I liked it too. I thought the guy who played Johnny, which is the guy from Kingsman, that Taron Egerton, I thought he was really good.
Was that the ape, the gorilla guy?
Yeah. I thought he was good. I mean, they really, they went out and got some people and
yeah, they just put a little thing together, and it goes to show that it doesn't take much to like just have a few friends and just put on a show and just play some good music and appeal, just create some entertainment. Create. It's not much effort to do it. You don't need a whole theater. You don't. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to. But it was great. Loved it. So, and of course, I liked Seth MacFarlane as the Rat Packer, and I liked and then didn't know it till the end who's the koala, the main character, and it was Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. So it's very nice. It's very, very charming.
And the sequel comes out in 2020.
Oh, they're doing a sequel. I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it went well. It was a popular movie. They're definitely making a sequel. It played well in theaters and it was well received. So, yeah.
It might have done well internationally. I don't know.
No, it did well, and the music did well too. I think the album sold well too, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, I liked Sing a lot. I thought it was really a lot of fun. I think the only thing that bummed me out was if you saw a lot of the previews and a lot of the ads for it at the time, you did see a good portion of the movie.
Yeah.
You really did. I mean, there was very little outside of that. So.
Yeah, it did super awesome. It was on a budget of $75 million. It made $630 million. So.
Right, and I wonder what the soundtrack made. I'm sure that did well too. I'm glad you found it. I really like that movie a lot.
Yeah, because I was worried about, because I did see The Grinch at Christmas time, and that was good. It was fine, but yeah, I was just surfing through Netflix and found it. I was like, I didn't see this, so I might as well, and I'm glad I did. So.
No, absolutely. What is? I feel like we're kind of in a weird lull at this point.
It's War on February, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't talk about that here, but yeah, I'm doing the War on February because February is a weird month that way. This is why Glass is doing okay. Is there's like really nothing.
And I guess January's box office receipts was like one of the worst ever.
Well, there's not. The problem is they don't count. They're counting new releases. They're not counting things like Aquaman and all the stuff that came out at the end of the month of December.
Right.
What I thought was interesting is, I thought I'd have time to catch, Green Book and The Mule and Vice and all that stuff, especially with all the stuff with the Oscars and whatnot. But there's enough new movies that a lot of those movies have gotten delegated to weird times at theaters, and you can't get to them. I don't think I can even see The Mule. I'm gonna have to wait till it comes on demand or something like that. So yeah, Glass is kind of the movie at this point. Although I think this weekend, are you going to see the Lego Movie too, or no?
Yes, I will be going to see the Lego Movie on Friday.
Yeah, I expect that will do wonders, and then. The reboot of the Mel Gibson movie about what women want. Now it's, what's her name?
What Men Want, yeah.
it's what's her name from Empire, Cookie, the one who plays Cookie Lion, and it looks funny. I just don't know that I want to spend that kind of money. I mean, there's been a couple things where it's like I'm interested in seeing them. I just don't know that I'm willing to pay $10. You know, Lego Movie's kind of in that riff for me too.
Well, we have our first box office bomb of 2019, and that's the Keanu Reeves Replicas movie.
I get the impression we're going to have another one because they're saying tracking on this Attila movie, Lezo movie or whatever the heck it is not good either. And this Attila Battle Angel or
that's
whatever.
Alita.
Alita Battle Angel, whatever. It's not going to matter much.
It was pushed for it was initially going to be a December release, like Avatar. That was James Cameron and all that. It was part of it, but they pushed it because of Bumblebee and Mary Poppins and Aquaman. So now it's in January. So hopefully you can make some money there because they got to get it in before the superhero movies come.
It's Valentine's Day. The interesting thing is, The Rock's new movie that he created, the one about the WWE wrestler Paige and her family fighting with my family, which does look interesting, but it's on a limited release, and I'm curious how much they need to do. But that's coming out the same day. That's something I do want to see, but I don't. Again, this is one of those where it's like, I don't know that I'm going to the movies to see it. I know How to Train Your Dragon's coming out near the end of the month. That'll be big. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, this is the mistake. This is why Captain Marvel or Shazam should have been in like February. Cause
get it cleaned up.
Cause there's okay, the Lego movie. The Lego movie, I guess technically How to Train Your Dragon for kids, but yeah, really it's like...
Yeah, we'll see. Lego Movie 2 is Warner Brothers, and How to Train Your Dragon is that DreamWorks?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got free reign, I think, for the month of February as far as just holding the box office receipts, because we're not seeing a lot of the Oscar bait back in the theaters in time.
No, right, and I'm kind of noticing that. Like I said, go try to find Bohemian Rhapsody. It's not out there and available. Go trying to find a working time for stuff like Vice, Green Book, which is surprising because they were not exactly. I mean, they weren't doing great, but they weren't like some of the previous years where it's like you looked at like the ones that were in the Oscars and you're like, oh, I would never go see that. A lot of the ones that I'm seeing for this year are ones where it's like, oh, that looks interesting. And they're just like being relegated as back to the back in bad times and all that stuff, and it's like, okay.
Well, a lot of the Oscar films are already out on digital, and some on DVD are coming out soon, so that might be part of why we're not seeing them in the theaters, because they did come out earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I really get the feeling like, I'm looking at this now, and it's like, there's, Captain Marvel, I mean, there are going to be people starving for a movie by March 8th. There really are. There are going to be people who are like, and the funny part is, Captain Marvel's on the 8th, and it could just run wild most of March until Shazam happens on the 5th.
Yeah, I think Shazam will make waves, but that's not till the end of April we've got Infinity War.
Right.
And those first 2 weeks Endgame.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's that. I wonder if that's the reason why they did that too. Well, they want their 2-weekend window too. Plus, I wonder if they did that for that reason. It's funny, I guess.
Why? Who did what? What do you mean?
Well, because originally Endgame was supposed to be the first weekend in May, and then they moved it up.
They did the same thing with Infinity War
last
year.
Right. So they gave themselves like a 2-week cushion.
Yeah.
And doing that. But, yeah, it's interesting because I guess the new Hellboy comes out on the 12th of April.
Oof.
So I'm curious how that'll do.
Yeah, up against Shazam, yeah.
Right. I mean, here it is again, where they're they're stacking stuff again, where it's like, boy, I kind of wish there was somebody, maybe they'll learn their lesson. I wish, originally Shazam was a February release, and then it got moved to April. And I'm like, why did you?
Yeah, what was up against? Maybe it's just production. They couldn't get the post done in time.
I guess.
For the effects. I hear that suit of his cost like a butt ton of money.
Yeah, I've heard yes, I've heard no. So I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. Hey, have you done any gaming lately?
No, we've gotten kind of in a rut because one of my two usual gaming buddies, one of them's moving, so he was done the whole month of February, and now my other gaming buddy, his Sundays are done until the end of March. So
okay.
Yeah, we're having trouble getting scheduling in time for gaming. These last few weeks have been rough in that regard.
Yeah,
But there is a little show. I'm going to go a little comic show in Pleasant Prairie. It's just north of the border here.
Okay.
I'm going to go to that with a friend of mine on Sunday. It's a tiny little show, but mostly comics. But it's just neat to just get out and be amongst the nerds.
Be amongst the nerds.
That's right. So, but no, I don't have anything like in gaming wise down the pipe.
Yeah, like I said, I'm kind of at that point where, I'd like to, if it's collaborative board gaming, I'm okay with it. I've just gotten to the point where sometimes with the competitive stuff, depending on what it is, it's just like I just get,
Yeah, I hear you.
Maybe it's just the people I hang out with who play them who get
That's part of it, too.
Yeah, I have some people who are very, very hardcore board game people, and, they'll I mean...
Yeah. I was doing card games at this little comic show up in Wisconsin. It was like a 2012... It was a 2012-2013, and there was one guy that sometimes the tournament would pair me up with, and this guy was just... took the absolute shortest route to victory, total cutthroat, not even, like, enjoying himself. I was like, man, aren't you here to, like, play? I mean, we play a game, and play would kind of constitute having fun.
Apparently not. There are people like that. Yeah. When I've gone to conventions, there are a lot of people where the concept...
And it's not even about, like, winning, like, we all put, like, a couple, like, bucks in the kitty, and sometimes you win like a booster pack. Whoever gets, whoever's on top, they do like a tiered kind of tournament kind of thing. But it was not fun for this guy at least. So, oh well, yes, it's a lot about the company you keep. That's for sure.
You want to hear something interesting? This just came up. We talked. You know how we talked about last show? We talked about Rent and how bad the numbers were.
Breaking news.
Yeah, this is from Playbill. Apparently, NBC is canceling the live broadcast of Hair.
Really?
Apparently. So, it was originally supposed to air May 19th. And, yeah.
May 19th, that's like around like... That's leading up to Memorial Day. That's May sweeps.
I also think that's I would guess that's Mother's Day. Just off the top of my head, if I had to go look it up, I bet it would be.
No, May 12th is Mother's Day.
Is it? So the week after.
Yeah,
why would you do it the week? Well, then it's Hair. Why would you?
And then it's the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. So.
Yeah. It's funny, they have a quote here from...
So we're hairless.
Yeah, apparently. There is a quote here from the co-chairman of NBC saying live musicals are part of the network's DNA, and we're committed to continuing to the tradition, since these shows are such enormous undertakings, we need titles that will have a wide appeal, and we're in the process of acquiring rights to a couple of new shows. I honestly think they were a little too ambitious. I think they were trying to be a little too ambitious with where they were going to go with this. Yeah.
Well, that sucks for hair fans.
Yeah, well, here's the interesting question. Is it really true that they're really looking to find something else down the road, or is it this might be the end of seeing live musicals on TV?
Who knows?
Only the shadow knows.
What evil lurks in the hearts of men? I used to have, back in the day, my neighbor had a club where you'd buy all these tapes. And that was like back in the 80s. And this was like part of what drew me to radio was my neighbor. And he got me down to it sounds kind of bad, when I was a kid, my neighbor took me into his basement, but it does sound kind of bad in that context, but no, it's okay. It's all right. No, his dad, he and my dad were friends.
Were Ice-T and Munch there?
It doesn't sound good. But he had all these tapes, so I would borrow his tapes and dub them over, and he had like episodes of The Shadow, and he had like the original broadcast of War of the Worlds, and what he had was Jack Benny tapes, and that was what partially drew me into radio back in the 90s. Well, it eventually drew me into radio in the 90s, but it also created the whole theater of the mind thing, which is instrumental to my making tapes for my friends when they were off at college, stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
So that's cool. Then The Shadow. It was funny you brought that up.
Right. Well, I think if you got into broadcast radio at some point, there was the mystique about that you didn't have to look like some amazing TV superstar, and that it was about theater of the mind and all of those aspects to it and what you could do.
Or if you just liked music.
Or music. That there's that too. And it's funny, people, MTV makes first song was Video Killed the Radio Star, and it's funny. There might be a little bit of truth to that. Even in today's world where, now you're talking guys on sports radio and it's like, oh, we're live casting this so you can watch us on the web. Do we really need to watch you on the web? I don't know. Maybe being a bigger guy, I'm more self-conscious about it. But to me, there was nothing like, listening to some of these guys on the radio back in the day. And it was okay. What do I think they might look like? Or what do I think they might sound like?
Yeah, well, for me, it wasn't about being insecure about my physical appearance, but it was more just about the anonymity.
Sure.
The mystique of just doing my whatever, funny voices or impressions or whatever.
Right.
And just be I'm the wacky guy on the radio.
Yeah.
That was part of it too. As a kid watching cartoons, I'd mimic the cartoon characters on the show, or I'd just quote dialogue from TV shows and movies on cable.
Right.
That was part of what I liked when listening to these old tapes, with these old Jack Benny and what was the other one? It was Rival. I forget what his name. It doesn't matter. Not George and Gracie, but Fred Allen. That was his rival. So
okay.
But anyway, so that was part of the allure that dragged me into audio media.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's some of that too, and it was interesting when back in the day when I was doing it, and it wasn't exactly like I worked for some of the bigger stations. So you'd quote unquote open the phone lines, and you'd sit there and go, boy, I hope somebody calls. I laugh because people sit there and say, oh, public speaking is hard, which is something you as you're aware I do. And I always laugh because it's like, at least with public speaking, I know they're out there and I can see people and I can hear people and I can hear things. With radio, it's you in a studio.
Yeah, and there's no soundboard. There's no one applauding or laughing or booing. Right. You don't know what the feedback is.
You have no idea. The only thing that you might get as feedback is if you put out the phone number, you put it out enough times, and maybe somebody hears what you have to say and they call up.
Yeah, in all the years, we put out the phone number all the time, all the years me and Ivan were on the WEEF, and only on a handful of times we ever get anyone call.
It's funny, when I did the sports show, and I did it over at NDZ, or I did it on VVX, there were times where we would get calls, where it would be, where we would actually get somebody, and it's funny, because, sometimes it was people who were friends or people like that. But, there was a period for a little bit where I had some people had bought time on one of the stations, and they were doing it was through Hooters was working with them, and it was like these chicks, and they were the sports chicks, okay? And they needed a buffer because the next program was technically like the Radio Rosary, so it's like we need kind of a buffer. And they didn't have anything in between, so I ended up doing like a little show in between, just to like kind of buffer it. And it was funny because when I had that and I was on regularly enough, I got calls from people like being like, I'm driving through Cincinnati and I caught you guys. And
wow.
Yeah, no, but trust me. Those days where you sit there and you're like, wow, I got a call.
Your signal made it to Cincinnati?
The WNDZ signal was weird. It was weird because the signal is actually in Portage, Indiana. It's not here. And then they try to aim it for Chicago, but it really doesn't work. So you can get it in Chicago, but not well. And it's weird because sometimes with the way that it's aimed, you have a better chance of getting a better signal for it in Milwaukee than you do in Chicago.
Because it bounces off the lake.
Because it bounces off the lake. That's why Ivan and I used to make the joke. It's 1,500 to the city and 3,500 to the lake. But the interesting part was, because it was in Portage, depending on the type of day, you could get the signal down in Indianapolis. I remember specifically, it was funny. I was down in Indy visiting friends, and on a whim, I went to pull up the show to see if it was on, and there it was. And I could hear it, and it was funny because I called in, and I'm like, I hear you guys loud and clear. But crazy, yeah. With a 5,000 watt AM, you can get to a lot of places. Just not after 4:30 in the afternoon, depending on the month.
Right. And then obviously when it gets dark, you're on low power.
Yeah, that too.
I've noticed even some of the Milwaukee AM stations, when I'm surfing around, when I used to travel to up north a lot, there were some Milwaukee stations that were hard to get, even just an hour and a half north of the city.
Yeah, it's crazy because
how AM stations are on low power.
I wonder, like, I don't know if you ever did this, but like when I was a kid, or when I was in high school, I'd fool with the dial in my car, and just to see what I could get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I used to do that too. Oh yeah, I found one night I was driving around. It was either driving around or I was on my old Panasonic boombox that I loved as a kid. That would just either camp out, like I'd put a tent in the backyard and run an extension cord into it, and I'd sleep in there, and I'd plug in my boombox, and I just, instead of turning my tape player off, I just raise the antenna and see what I could get, and catching stations in Toronto or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because these days that's not something you have to worry about. These days you just go on the internet, you can pick up just about anything.
Right. On your phone.
Or on your phone, or go online and boom, there it is. But, it was crazy because, and that's, if you were really like you really were into like radio, it was, okay, let's see if I can find the right parking lot. What's the weather like today? Let's see if we can get what we can get today. Because there were plenty of times where it was like, okay, I think there was something going on with one time with like LeBron James, and I was like, oh, let's see if we can get I think 1100, the Cleveland station or something like that, and so there it is, boom, right there. Or Cincinnati is a cleared channel. They have WLW, which is 700, which is 20 away from GN. But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff. Like, how much have you done like you've done like road trips in the past, right, too, where you're driving along or?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you'll pick up a signal in a weird place, right?
Right. Or you just surf the dial and you'll just find, obviously, other stations or whatever syndicated programs.
Yeah. Well, it was crazy. I have two good ones for this. As a kid, we're driving through Nashville on the way to Florida, and every station in Nashville is just country music, and I'm just like,
yep.
Next. Finally, we got something, and I'm like, wow, that's really good.
Was it top 40 or?
At the time, it was just a rock station.
Okay.
I was like 8 or I might have been like 10. Okay, like 10 or 11 or 12, something like that. And I'm like just sitting there, I'm like, oh, this is great. I wonder what station it is. You know what station it was? WLS. Right in the middle of downtown Nashville, we were picking up WLS. Perfectly clear at 4 in the morning.
How about that?
The better one was when the Bulls started to get good. I was hanging out with a buddy and we were screwing around. We're up in southern Vermont, and we're screwing around trying to find, we're trying to screw around. We're just getting AM channels, and all of a sudden, we're like, wait a minute, that's Jim Durham. And at the time, Jim Durham was the voice of the Chicago Bulls. We're like, wait. Sure enough, we were able to get 670, which at the time was MAQ, and that was where the Bulls were on. And so it was funny, like, because at the time, cable wasn't as prevalent where I was over there in southern Vermont, because we're talking early 90s and whatnot. And so it was like, we used to joke, like, a couple of us who were from Chicago, like, we grab some food, get in the car, find the location so we could listen to the Jordan Bulls.
This is when they were getting the rings every year?
Right. This was right at the beginning, right when they were first going to get rings.
Like 90, 91?
Yeah, this was like 90. This was the first year. This was the 90-91 season.
Okay.
This is the first year that they ended up going to the championship. So yeah, it was funny because we were getting them. And then when the playoffs came, obviously we knew a place to go in town. It was funny because it was like we'd come for the early game, and all the Lakers fans would show up for the late game. Because we found a place in town that would have it. But
only other like radio adventures that I have would be like if we drove past the outdoor theater here, which is still operating here in McHenry. If it was a movie that I liked or a movie that I'd seen already, I'll drive past it, or maybe just slow down and park in the gas station near it, so I can listen to the audio through the AM signal and hear the audio from the movie, so I don't have to pay admission. You can just hear some scenes from the movie. Because it's a really low power signal, so you got to be close to the outdoor. You just got to know what AM dial setting so you can listen through on your radio.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's funny. I just saw something here. Apparently, there's a study, an online study about the worst driving states and the best driving states.
What states to listen to the radio while driving through?
No, just in terms of what states are the biggest pains in the asses and which ones are not.
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a pain in the ass to drive.
According to this, Maine was named as the worst state, which doesn't make any sense.
Snow.
Snow, maybe snow. Oh, okay. Wade, means of calculating accidents, speeding tickets, DUIs, citations, and fatalities.
Oh.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, just how perilous and how likely you are to get a ticket. Okay.
Yeah. So Maine, I guess, was the worst, followed by South Carolina and Nebraska. Get this.
Oh, Nebraska. I couldn't even imagine driving through Nebraska.
I've done it once. I won't do that again.
Cornfield after cornfield.
I won't do that again.
So, like, even like driving through like West Central and Southern Illinois is bad.
It's funny you say that because the states they live list is the best driving states: Michigan, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Illinois. In fairness, with Arizona, I get it. There's some really nice scenery in sections of Arizona.
Like east-west, if you're like on Route 66, but north-south, if you're driving like north-south through Illinois, forget it. No way.
Yeah.
I'd say Pennsylvania is bad.
Yeah.
One time it was in 2004, I was going to a toy show in New Jersey, and I had to drive through the state of Pennsylvania. And I thought Ohio was a really long state. Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah. Ohio's number 8, by the way, is worse.
Ugh, yeah. Ohio's bad. Especially if you're going like the turnpike. That's a long, it seems like there's like 300 plus miles to get across Ohio from Indiana to the panhandle of Pennsylvania. Because I have, my uncle lives in Erie. And I think Ivan and I might even do that trip again this year, where I'll go see my buddy, Matt. He's up in Erie, PA now, where he was in Cleveland last year. He's moved. But anyway, Ohio sucks as far as driving through it.
Yeah. You know what's really bad that way, too, is if you have to go north-south Indiana.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done shows in Cincinnati, where Indiana, when you get past, like, Merrillville, then it's just, you have a couple of exits, and then it's just windmills all the way up to Indianapolis, and then whether you're going directly south or eastbound to get to wherever you're at in Indy, Indianapolis the state of Indiana can be bad.
Yeah, state of Indiana can be boring as hell. It's true. Actually, it's funny you mentioned about the windmill. So when I went to school there in the 90s, the windmills weren't there.
No.
Okay. And even when I went and kind of drove down there and visited in I had drove through there 2011 or 2012.
Yeah.
And the windmills weren't there. So maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I got to drive down to Gen Con. Okay. Now, again, I've done this drive from Chicago to Indy in my sleep. I could do it in my sleep for because I used to, like I said, I used to have to do it all the time for college. So it's I could do it in my sleep. It's okay. I got here, I got there. This is where I can get on. This is where I can get off. Here's where I can stop. Here's where I don't want to be stuck. All those kinds of things. And it was funny. It was I want to say 5, 6 in the morning. And I had not had coffee, and I'm just kind of doing my thing. And I'm just kind of looking at the road, and I'm trying to get to Gen Con because I want to be there to get in by, 8 o'clock and, to get in for, not 8 o'clock, for, the afternoon slot and get what I need and all that kind of stuff. And I'm driving along, and for some strange reason, I turn my head to the right. And that's the first time I see the windmills. And as I'm totally not really awake, I'm holy shit, what the? And I'm there's nobody else on the road, so thank God. So I kind of swerve on in both lanes. And I'm where the fuck did all this come from? But yeah, so that's only been the last, I don't know, maybe 5
few years, yeah.
Yeah, within the last 5 years or so was when they put those up. So I'm when you sit there and talk about the windmills, it's like that's my first memory of the windmills is I'm driving, I hadn't had coffee, I'm like sitting there and I'm like, we just gotta get through, we've done this drive a million times, flat land, nothing to see. I look to my right, what the hell is that? You know? Especially when you're not expecting to see anything except flat land. Yeah, Indiana's bad if you have to go north. If you have to go to like Louisville, forget it. It's like a pain in the butt.
Yeah, Louisville. I've been to Louisville.
Yeah. That drive between Indy and Louisville is a short drive, but it's boring. It feels like it takes forever. Yeah, all right. Do we want to start having... Do we want to get so wacky?
I think it's time. We'll do our crazy news that we usually do.
Yeah. There's a story or two I want to save for when Ivan comes back. There's one. I'll have to write a note somewhere. There was something where for 2018, the top searched TV and movie characters for Pornhub.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured that was a week. We need to, you know, when I found out Ivan was going to be on the show, I'm like, we need to hold that one.
All right.
You know, we need to hold that one. That's the one where we need Ivan.
Ivan, if you're listening, you're gonna have to wait till next week, buddy.
Yeah. That's a Ivan sitting there going, what?
Ivan's ditched us for an office party this week, man.
Yeah, office party. Well, in fairness, it's got arcade games.
Yeah, but it's and his coworkers. He spins at his arcade, so we'll get the lay down on that office party from Ivan next week. So okay, I guess we'll start our goofy news and then we'll get out of here then.
Yeah, we'll kind of go. I'm gonna skip this one about them playing a hockey game in the middle of a 75-car pileup.
Yeah, that was just pretty much just a video, pretty much.
Yeah,
There's not much to
video.
it.
There was a town near Green Bay that told where the cops told people in Wisconsin, just stay home, don't steal anything. I don't know if you heard about this.
Yes, the police. Yes.
You heard that right. It was with windshield warnings. Thanks to USA Today. With windshield warnings, we simply cannot have any criminals putting themselves in harm's way at those temperatures. Avoid crime and criminal activities is especially important during periods of inclement weather and also during other times. Yep, I would say in other times too. I guess they had to make that clear to them. But
go knock off the gas station next week. This week's too cold.
Yeah, come back next week. Let's see. This story's gone. I had something here about a man who stole laxatives thinking they were painkillers. That story seems to be gone.
The story was deleted?
It says this is not here. It must have been an old story, so it's gone. Here. This one got a lot of traffic. It got some actual traffic on our page. There's quite a few people who have questions about this. This is from Australia. Spider bites Australian man on the penis again.
There he goes. Biting that guy again.
A 21-year-old Australian tradesman has been bitten by a venomous spider on the penis for the second time. The man was using a portable toilet on a Sydney building site when he suffered a repeat of an incident from 5 months ago. He was bitten pretty much on the same spot by the spider. He says, quote, I'm the most unluckiest guy in the country at the moment. He was sitting on the toilet doing his business and he felt the sting that he felt for the first time. He said, I can't believe it's happened again. And I've seen a few little legs coming from the rim. Remember that conversation we had earlier in the day about why we stay here? This is why we stay here.
Yes, that's why we live in Illinois.
This is why we live in Illinois. Because, you know, it's not even a radioactive spider where he can, like, get, like, super penis or something, or, you know, like, get spider sense or something cool. I just think it's crazy because he had that happen to him twice. Obviously, two different spiders, right? It has to be.
Yeah, spiders don't live that long to hit a guy twice.
Yeah. No. Hey, that's That story is so wrong for so many reasons. Just the part where it says again. That's the.
It's like when he comes back to the ER, the hospital. It's like, you again? You're not here because of that. Yep. Again?
Yep. What's the odd? You mentioned you put this one up about, I guess, Ariana Grande.
Yeah, we usually don't get too many celebrities here in the wacky news, but this one I simply could not pass up.
Okay, so what's the deal with Ariana Grande?
Okay, Ariana Grande wanted to show off her new tattoo, okay? So, what's this? Now, I was aware, was it back in, the early 2000s when people started getting, Japanese kanji tattooed on their bodies, and it means fire or water or whatever. Well, apparently, Ariana Grande is showing off her mad tattoo skills where she's tie-in to her new single, 7 Rings. So she got the Japanese symbols, which is kanji, for 7 rings, but because of the lack of context, the way the symbols are translated, it translates to barbecue grill.
Okay.
Ariana Grande got a tattoo on her hand, which is not it hurts to get a tattoo, but in places where you have a bone right under the skin and moving bones, there are a lot of bones in a human hand. So she got a tattoo and it hurts a lot. But the new tattoo means Japanese style barbecue grill, not 7 rings. So she was.
Now it's called Japanese barbecue finger.
Yeah, so obviously her Japanese-speaking fans have called her out on it immediately, and she has since deleted the post on Instagram about her barbecue grill hand.
I'm all for Ariana Grande having a barbecue hand. I don't know why.
As long as she cooks with propane, I'm fine with this.
No. Well, how do you cook that? Do you saute that with barbecue sauce? How does that work?
Peggy's secret recipe, Ariana. You wouldn't understand. Get back inside, boy. Anyway, yep. So, Ariana Grande, yep. Love it.
All right, so there's that. And then we have a local man arrested after cosplaying Mr. Freeze and yelling cold weather puns at people. Why?
Because all those Arnold Schwarzenegger and those bad ice puns from Batman and Robin. Oh God.
Now it makes more sense. Guess where this happened? Take a wild, whopping guess where this took place.
Where is this taking place? It wasn't in Florida.
Well, okay, we're not talking about state. Think about where would something like this happen?
Well, we've had some weird shit happen at Walmarts. So
there we go.
That's it. Yep, it's a Walmart.
Apparently. And what is with this? Okay, so it says he was arrested early Wednesday morning after walking around the parking lot yelling cold weather puns at shoppers. What is with early morning at Walmart? Okay, so the long and short of it is, don't go to Walmart in the morning, and if you're going to go, don't go early morning. Wait till about 10, because the crazy leaves at that time.
Yeah.
He said, here's a quote. He told me he was going to change the stop sign to say freeze. He was dressed up in so he did look like the Arnold Schwarzenegger version. Some clear plastic that looked and hand-painted baby blue to really get the whole ice look down. He was also trying to talk like Arnold. It was pretty funny, he said one shopper. Apparently some people didn't think it was funny.
This is not how you test your cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
If he was doing this at Comic-Con, he might have been all right, but he's at a Walmart, and people just want to shop in their pajamas, so please don't.
I think we might have a tape of that. Hey, Mike, do you have that tape of him walking around the Walmart doing that?
Hey, you better go to the frozen food section. It's alright. Get out of here. I'll freeze you with my freeze gun. Ah.
Yeah, you'll make us into fish sticks, won't you, Arnold?
Tired to freeze you. Ah. Don't have an affair with your housekeeper. Ah.
Yeah, she wasn't frigid.
Oh.
Sorry, that was right there. So this took place in Sioux Falls. What happens at Walmart? Walmart. You know, if you're bored, just go to your local Walmart. You'll find something interesting, I swear. The guy with the neck is back, huh?
The neck man, yeah.
The giant neck guy that I remember from a while back. If you've not seen this guy, his name is Charles Dion McDowell, and he is better known as Wide Neck. And this guy is an amazing sized neck. He could make a lot of money, like putting ads there.
Yeah, he's like a Cardassian from Star Trek. He's got that huge ass neck.
Yeah. Apparently, his bond was revoked from the previous case. So I guess this is what happens when you go neck and neck with all that kind of stuff.
He's not spineless, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's pretty bold.
That's true, but it looks like the neck will have to sit in a cell till he gets all sorted out. Maybe it'll happen next week. Doubt it. He's been arrested a few times the past month, but he blew up on social media because of his massive neck.
What a way to be famous.
Yeah. It's huge. It really is. I mean, and he's got this monster tattoo. Although it's funny because where's the tattoo? Oh, because it's short. It's a shorter shirt. Reckless driving without a revoked license, improper lane usage. All he had to do is just stick his neck out and show him the direction. He'd been fine.
Anytime we lose signal with the ISS, we could use his neck to bounce the radio signals back.
Mm-hmm. That should be Arnold's sidekick at Walmart. I'm with the neck. Get naked.
Hey, neck guy. Ah.
Yeah. The neck guy's back.
The neck guy.
Let's see. Oh, we don't need to talk about James Gunn. There is about how miserable everybody's winters are, but that's not really weird. We didn't talk about this, but this isn't weird news. I forgot about this, about that Kirkman is doing Invincible for Amazon, animated. It's going to be Steve Yeun, Sandra Oh, and Mark Hamill. Should be pretty good.
Okay.
Kirkman is the guy who did Walking Dead. So
well, that's a big deal.
That's a big deal. At a Chicago, local. We've got live and local. At a Chicago club, pharma exec gave a lap dance to a doctor at drug bribing scheme. Again, maybe they were necking.
The neck guy wasn't involved.
No, he wasn't. Maybe he was frozen out.
Yeah, no
that's
ice puns. No ice puns for the pharma guy.
She was not frigid. Let's see. A former pharmaceutical executive accused of joining a scheme to bribe doctors into prescribing a powerful painkiller once gave a lap dance to a doctor of the doctor the company was pressuring to give his patients to use the drug. I guess this place why does it say Chicago, but then it talks about there's a trial in Boston.
Maybe he was just visiting there.
They hired a former exotic dancer to be their regional sales manager, even though she had no experience in the pharmaceutical world. Now let's just stop right there. Have you've seen them when they walk into the doctor's offices, right? Like these pharma reps. Have you seen them?
Some of them, yeah, they gotta sell them pills.
Yep, they gotta sell them pills. But I mean, like, when was the last time you saw some woman who was out of shape, who was like a pharmaceuticals rep?
You don't.
They all look like they belong in some sort of model or something, like, you know what I mean? Oh. Like even like some of the guys are that way too. It's like they hire pretty people. They hire pretty people for a reason.
Yeah. Sales boost.
It's like she has no experience. She didn't need any experience. Well, anyway.
Yeah, all she had to do was shake her moneymaker.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I hate to say it. In sales, sometimes that stuff works.
Yeah.
And
those aren't free samples coming out of that G-string.
Yeah. Arnold would enjoy it as long as it was an ugly maid. But apparently, yeah. So apparently this took place. Apparently, this is why we should have became doctors, Mike. Not only is it that we get like free lap dances.
I don't do like 15 years of medical school.
No, yeah, there's that. I don't think that one. That's true.
No patience for that. I was like, no, broadcasting school is 4 months.
It's not even 4 months for me. Yeah. This is more video, but have you seen the guy who tried to claim that he slipped on ice someplace?
I heard the story.
On video?
I heard the story.
On video?
Yeah.
Where
I did hear the story.
Where apparently he threw ice on the floor and then did a slip and fall to fake a slip and fall. The problem is that it was entirely videoed. So they have him on video throwing the ice in the water on the ground. And the best is he doesn't even fall. He literally sits down. He comes to a knee, sits down, and lays on his back. It's like,
this day and age, you gotta walk around in public like you know you're being videoed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna slip and fall on ice, you better make it look good. You can't just sit there and throw the ice down and then be like, okay, here's the ice. Now I'm gonna sit down, literally, and then.
I didn't even bother to look up to check the video camera and be sure that he wasn't being videoed. No, he did all this in plain sight. Put the ice on the floor, and then he just laid down.
Yep. That's exactly what he did.
Yep, dumbass.
That's exactly how he did it. The video is even better. When you look at the video, and he literally is like, as a 57-year-old guy, you gotta be a little bit smarter than that.
He will not have an ice day.
Yeah, no, he will not. No. That's the guy who probably needs the lap dance right now. Probably does. Family out $13,000 after son makes a series of in-game Xbox purchases. They say they missed dozens of Microsoft received emails detailing the purchases from 2016 through November. How do you miss this? November 2017. How could you?
I read my statements every month. I don't know how this family missed $13,000 worth of transactions.
We're not talking about, when I first heard about this, I thought, okay, one purchase and then it went through.
Yeah.
And there's so many things, too, if there's large sources, it automatically tells you and all this stuff and all this stuff. This went on for over a year. It's not just a one-off. I remember one story about how a dog grabbed a guy's game controller and he actually hit the receipt, the transaction button or whatever, and made it was a $2,000 or something like that. And of course it was instantly refunded because it happened immediately. Mm-hmm.
But this one didn't, so this family is out $13,000.
Yeah. According to this, after the son made a series of purchases, they think it happened when he repeatedly pressed a button on his controller in an effort to get into games faster. Claims it's unintentional. We thought we had enabled the block of in-game purchases. I guess it didn't work, or maybe it was in one game and not the next game. It's kind of that's really scary. Yeah, well.
And then what I don't know, it just makes no sense at all is that the family is not mad at the kid. Bullshit. That Xbox is probably in 50,000 pieces right now.
Oh my God! Forget the Xbox. You better call DCFS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apparently, it was a credit card that they don't entered a credit card number and an email address they don't regularly use. But you get a statement, right?
They don't regularly use it, but they don't even bother to check it for over a year and find out that your kid racked up over $10,000. Yeah, my parents would have killed me.
Oh, absolutely. So basically what this says is, if I'm understanding this right, this is a credit card, and honestly, this is the reason why I don't do this. I don't do everything online because, God forbid, it's something exactly like this. Now, in fairness, I don't have a credit card where that would happen, where I wouldn't get an email to me, but it seems as though it went to an email that nobody uses, and it was a credit card that nobody uses, and they just assumed, and since they just assumed,
when you assume.
Oh wait, here's the best. Apparently, it was set up with direct auto pay. How do you not know
that your salary? You mean is it linked to a debit card or a credit card?
Or
a debit card, like a bank card?
To a bank.
They were siphoning funds out of the bank. Oh my God!
Yeah. How do you not
pay attention to that? Wow.
How did you miss? I mean, okay, maybe if it was small amounts over a period of time. I mean, in fairness, what? Okay, hold on. You're talking what? You're talking November 2017, June 2016, so that's what? Oh, God, math is not my friend.
16 months?
16 months. 16 months, $13,000. Divided by that. Okay. All right. No, I would notice this. I would notice if for some strange reason.
Yeah, most people would notice this the first month.
I would notice after a while that for some strange reason, a little over $800 every month was going out of my bank for some reason that I don't know why. I think I'd notice. That's just me.
No. Yeah.
May
you have such fortune.
Here's the best. Here's the best. One of them was $300 in charges one day. They asked the kids if they were doing it, and they said no.
Did they say how old the kid is? Did they say how old the kid is?
No. Yeah. I'm looking to see if there's any. No, they're not rehearsing the charges. They're not saying how old the kids are. Yeah, honestly, it's horrible, but you gotta pay attention.
Well, if they can get maybe like a GoFundMe going, and then they can promote it on that guy's neck.
Yeah.
So everyone will see it.
And then we can bring a guy in who's wearing the Arnold suit and be like, "We need to freeze the account." Yeah. Speaking, as long as we're talking about weird stuff, Florida girl stole Papa John's delivery card to visit her boyfriend in Florida.
Of course.
I
don't think you even need to read the article. I think it just sums it up right there.
Before we even get to the rest, here's the tagline. Suspect's father told local TV station she needs in parentheses, rear end whooping, and that in jail, end quote. Wow. 14-year-old girl. Oh, she wasn't even of age.
Wasn't even
14-year-old girl facing Grand Theft Auto charges. Stole a pizza delivery cart. She ordered 2 pizzas and had them sent to the neighbor's house. When the driver went to deliver the pizzas, she popped out some nearby bushes, stole his unlocked 2006 Ford Taurus. He left the keys in the car?
Let the motor running?
He left the motor running and left the keys in the car?
Wow.
Are you kidding me? Oh, this dumbass deserves it. This dumbass deserves it. I mean, I've done pizza delivery before. That, unless you got somebody with you, that's the last thing you want to do.
Jeff, you used to deliver pizzas?
Like back in the day when I was in I was in college, like early college.
Yeah.
But that's the last thing you do. No, that's
especially in this day and age where you can't even carry like more than $20 on you. Otherwise, you're gonna get killed or at least mugged or knocked out or something.
Okay, so, the best is apparently her wild ride was tracked by a police helicopter. She was apprehended about 6 miles away from her house.
They had dispatched the chopper.
Apparently the daughter's plan was to meet the boyfriend. I sent the cop text messages of her and her boyfriend talking about robbing people and all that. Apparently this is the father. And his daughter needs a rear end whipping, that in jail. But in fairness, no. I'm sorry. If you are dumb enough to leave your car running, 49-year-old Christopher Cook, you are a... how do you not know?
And this is Florida. This is not inclement weather. I mean, it's not cold weather.
Well, and you saw a person, but why would you... This doesn't even make any sense. I mean, it's not even like a teenager or like a college kid. This is a 49-year-old man. This is just dumb. If you got made to look like an idiot by a 14-year-old girl, that's the reason you're delivering pizza.
Well, this car was like 12 years old. So
even so,
maybe he didn't want to burn out the ignition. Maybe he had trouble with with starting and stopping a car that old. Whatever reason, it was wrong to steal the car. But
it was wrong to steal a car, but that's
don't blame the victim, Jeff. God.
But it's dumb. I mean, you're just asking for trouble if you're just not gonna. I don't know. That's just, to me, I'm like, what? Why would you? All right. Anyway, here's a story from the Super Bowl. A missing Georgia man allegedly stole nearly $1 million in Super Bowl ticket scam. Apparently, if you were in Gwinnett County, you may want to double check if your tickets were real for that game. I bet you find out already. Too bad. He collected nearly $1 million from fraudulent Super Bowl ticket sales, and the man's been missing, reported by his wife since earlier in the month. He's accused of theft through ticket scam by, get this, by his own mother. The man accused of selling the fake tickets owns a digital printing shop near the Atlanta metropolitan area. Gee, I wonder how he made the tickets.
Wonder where he got those fake tickets at.
Yeah, wonder how he made that work. Community members have called the business squeaky clean. No, really? Never would have guessed. But when they talked to Dahmer, he was wonderful. He was kept himself. He was just a wonderful neighbor. That's how it always works.
That's right. How it is. He was such a nice person. Always quiet.
Such a nice man. Meantime, I don't know where my spleen went.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he has body parts in his fridge.
Yeah. Such a nice man.
Why he's inviting people over to his place and they don't come out.
Such a nice man, such a wonderful businessman. In the meantime, I don't have Super Bowl tickets, and I've paid a lot of money for them.
But would you? I don't know. Who would? I mean, if you had a chance to get $1 million and then probably obviously gone to either Canada or Mexico and just live the rest of your life somewhere else, I don't know if I could do that. Even to be like the plus side, to get $1 million, you'd never be able to see your friends and family again.
Hold a second. All right. Would that include scamming your mother of $36,000?
No.
The best is apparently she declined to press charges. I know why she declined to press charges. She wants to kill him herself.
Yeah. That and everybody else is going to press charges, so why add one more?
Yeah. Here's the best part. He had recently taken out a $500,000 loan against the business without his wife's knowledge. He's not coming back. He's gone.
Yep. He's gone to live on some island.
He's with the Arnold Schwarzenegger guy, and he can hire the pharma stripper. There you go. There. That's...
Yep. He's got some... he's the one they call Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah, really. He can feel... That's going to be fun. apparently there was a kid who got explosive lessons using fireworks over a manhole. Apparently this was in China. To the point either dropping one of the fireworks into the manhole or allowing the sparks to fall in that ignited the methane gas trapped inside, causing the sidewalk to erupt. No one was injured in the blast, not even the boy, who could be hurt afterwards, telling his mother that he was scared. I'd be scared too. 3 cars were damaged.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Yeah, really, seriously.
To our listeners.
There is video of this on our site, by the way.
Be safe when using your fireworks to celebrate Chinese New Year.
Yeah. You're the pig, I think.
Yeah.
I think, right?
There were a couple of third-party items I was hoping would be out in time for Chinese New Year, but I got to wait until March because, China shuts down almost for the whole month of February for Chinese New Year. They party down pretty much how it's December here in America as far as stuff. So.
All right. Apparently there was baby orangutan paternity test has a surprise worthy of Maury Povich. Paternity test on a baby orangutan has come back with a surprising result. This is in Switzerland. Test showed a 5-month-old wasn't fathered by a male in her enclosure. Routine DNA samples from newborn orangutans because they're endangered great apes for a breeding program. But researchers say that a 14-year-old man, that the DNA compared to a 14-year-old male living in the same enclosure as the baby's mother. They found it didn't match that 14-year-old male. It matched an 18-year-old orangutan who was in the next enclosure. It appears that he jumped the dividing fence or did something to get over there to get what he wanted.
Yep, get some action.
To get some action. So
good on him.
Good for him. You are not the father. We'll skip the Pornhub story. But in vain but because we've had them on multiple weeks now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's that time again to talk about Pringles.
Pringle news.
Pringles
of the round table.
Apparently, the story of the woman riding the electric shopping cart and drinking wine from a Pringles can has been an inspiration for an artist in Mississippi. Apparently, somebody created tumblers, themed wine tumblers that you can buy now that look like Pringles cans.
Are they like cozies to help keep them warm or cold?
I guess. Well, yeah. Here's the interesting part. I wonder if this person just did it, or I wonder if they talked to the people who make Pringles. Because boy, I would assume that they would.
Yeah, it might be just something on Etsy or something. It's because it's going to be copyright infringement.
Yeah, I would.
So they're going to get some Pringles lawyers at her door.
I think we're going to end with this one. I know you've got a couple stories that we got from a listener, but I think I want to save those for Ivan because those are some amusing things.
All right.
Oh wait, one of them is time sensitive, isn't it?
Is it? Yes. Well, let's see. Next week is Valentine's Day week, so we can save it for next week.
Can we? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's end here. This is a pretty good place to end. Man buys hate group's domain and turns it into a gay furry site.
That'll trigger them racists.
That is awesome. That is talk about getting even. The Wolves of Odin is a far-right Canadian group that peddles Islamic immigration theories. Its members were caught earlier this year harassing Muslims and spying on the country's oldest mosque. So when Canadian resident Brady Grumpellet realized that they didn't have their Canadian web address didn't have a Canadian one, he bought wolvesandodin.ca and turned it into a gay site with erotic images of furries.
God.
So apparently the .com works just fine, but the .ca, which is Canada, furries are people who feel attracted to people wearing animal mascot costumes and drawing of anthropomorphic creatures. Really, this is an Ivan story, but Ivan's not here. I'm sure Ivan would have really enjoyed this. So yeah, apparently he did this. And apparently it's linked to a GoFundMe campaign to raise funds to remove hateful vocal graffiti and offer to sell the domain to anyone who makes a $10,000 donation to Hate Free YEG, an Alberta-based organization fighting the influence of right-wing hate groups in the city of Edmonton. Apparently the furry community is anti-fascist and working to drive away pro-Nazi fear. There's furries who are anti-fascist and fascist? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. There are anime fans who are like white supremacists.
Yeah, oh god.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. This is where Arnold needs to come in. I'm going to shoot them all. I'm going to make them freeze. I don't know. All these stories and more are on the Facebook Squares of the Round this Facebook Squares of the Round Table page, and you can check them out there, and you can see them and all the other wacky things that we talk about. So that's wacky news this week. So I guess. Mike, tell them what they've won, or how did they get it?
Tell them what they won. You won a free podcast! Yay!
You won a free podcast.
For Squares of the Round Facebook, we're here on the Squares of the Round Table Facebook page. That's where Jeff has all his crazy stories. We got videos of seeing people trying to scam people by slipping on their own ice, or people causing fires underneath manhole covers. We've seen fire and we've seen rain, but you can see it all on the Facebook page of Squares of the Round Table. We are on Instagram. We are on Instagram and Twitter at SOTOT Podcast. Thanks for listening on PodBean. We're also on YouTube. Subscribe, click the bell. We'd appreciate it very much. Send us an email, or if you want a message through Facebook, that'd be fine too. Also, we're on the email route. That is SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com.
That's going to do it for this week.
Yep. So on behalf of Jeff Stein and our absent Ivan Rivera, he misses a lot of shows, but we still love him. It's like a love-hate relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love to hate him sometimes.
Yes.
I'm kidding, Ivan. Ivan. We miss you.
Yes. Get your ass back here next week.
Yeah, this would have been a good week for Ivan's ridiculous laugh track of adding to this.
That's right.
There was some screwed up stuff this week.
Well, hopefully he's not going to get too blasted tonight at the office party. So, so we'll have more super awesome stories and fun for you next week here on the show. So until then, we'll see you then. I guess we'll hear from you, or you'll hear from us, or something
like that.
Goodbye.
Have a great week, everybody.